Welcome to Get the Balance Right, a podcast for creative entrepreneurs looking to grow their business in a healthy, sustainable way. I'm your host, Heather Zeitzwolf, CPA and business advisor. Each week, you will learn actionable steps to streamline your processes, increase your profits, and make a bigger impact as a purpose-driven leader. Join me in conversations with CEOs and renegades in digital media, marketing, advertising, and design. Want to ignite your passion for business? Then let's get started. Hello and welcome to another episode of Get the Balance Right podcast. I am your host, Heather Zeitzwolf. Have you ever heard the expression that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with? On this episode today, we are discussing changing your life for the better by changing your circle of influence. Changing your circle can be accomplished by finding a mentor, making new friends, joining masterminds, hiring a coach, or befriending others in your field who have obtained the level of experience and skills that you aspire to. To discuss this topic, we are joined by the charming and talented Jamar Jones, who is the founder of Foureva Media and the host of the Foureva Podcast. He is a video marketer and branding expert, along with a speaker, motivator, and self-proclaimed comic book enthusiast. Jamar has a debut book about this subject called Change Your Circle, Change Your Life. We discuss his experiences, which inspired his book, along with ways that you can implement his methods into your own life to help you grow as a person and as an entrepreneur. Before we dive in, I want to share an incredibly personal experience I had this past week and the breakthrough I had because of it. My reason for sharing is not to boast. In fact, it's quite the contrary. I'm hoping that you can learn from my situation, reflect on your own life, and change certain work patterns if you've fallen into a trap like me. If you're a regular listener of the podcast, you may have noticed that we haven't had a show in the last 2 weeks. I really would like to explain. This was a tough decision for me because I made a commitment to myself to record a podcast each week without any gaps. I managed to keep up my commitment every week for the past 11 months. But life got in the way and I needed a break. Just like the show's title, Get the Balance Right, I needed to get some balance back into my own life. I needed some time off. I decided to go on a vacation. And during this time, I planned on taking a 1-week hiatus from the podcast. Unfortunately, during this week, my 94-year-old mom, who was on hospice, took a turn for the worst. She was declining fast, and tragically, my flight back was delayed by a day. As soon as we flew in, we went to see her. By the time we got there, my mom had entered a comatose state. I spent the next several days by her bedside, holding her hand, kissing her forehead, telling her I loved her, all while watching her die slowly, without food and water. Seeing my mom completely unresponsive was beyond difficult. Seeing her body withering away has made a mental impression that I will never be able to shake. It was an emotionally charged week, spent with my family and loved ones, that was full of sadness and retrospection. My mom, Audrey Zeitz, died on May 4th around 4 a.m. in room 4, which seemed very odd. After I received the news that she had passed, all I wanted to do was curl up in a ball on the floor, cry into my pillow, and let my cats lick up my tears. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to wallow in my pain because I just didn't have the time. As you may know, I'm a CPA and I'm quickly headed towards the tax deadline. I'm sure I will bawl my eyes out in the future as I go through my mom's possessions, but this week I had to work on tax returns. Here I was with my grim reality, motherless, with a pile of work and clients, thankfully, waiting patiently. My built-in free, and I'm using air quotes, my built-in free time had been used going on vacation and being by my mom's bedside. There was no wiggle room left for bereavement. I had gotten myself into a situation that was ridiculous. I became a business owner to give myself more freedom, but here I was shackled to my desk. I know I'm not alone in this. As business owners, we need to build enough slack for emergencies. But oftentimes, we don't. We think we can do it all until life's tragedies slap us in the face. Having to work while emotionally in pain is not healthy, but at least I can learn from it. The vital lesson I learned from this predicament has put fire in me. I am on a mission to bring more balance to my life. I'm the first one to admit that I'm a workaholic, an overachiever, and I have a tendency to stretch myself thin between running my own business, having a podcast, volunteering. It goes on and on. But, and I mean a big but, after this deadline, things are going to change. Just like the title of this podcast, I am going to get the balance right. Dear listeners, you are my witness, and so is my mommy. May she rest in peace. But what about you? I know I'm not the only one who needs to improve work-life balance. Here's what I want to do. Let's vow to support each other and hold each other accountable. To prove my dedication, I plan on having future podcast shows that will help teach and inspire us to get more balance in our lives. Not only is it my mission for myself, it's my mission for you. So more to come on this topic next week. As my mom always said, the show must go on. So let's move on to today's topic. This week we are discussing changing your circle to change your life. This can take a lot of time and effort, but the magical results all start with your willingness to try. I have found over the years that true human connection can be a powerful mechanism to help you develop your own potential. These long-lasting connections often start from networking. To make this happen, you have to approach networking from a place of giving and not about what the other person can do for you. This human connection should take place during all networking, whether live or virtual. During COVID, we have been unable to go to live conferences and other networking events, but soon this will change. I know a lot of people hate live networking because they feel like they have to sell themselves. There's pressure to have a clever elevator pitch. But guess what? Nobody wants to be sold to at live networking events. So forget about your elevator pitch because no one cares. People don't remember elevator pitches. They remember how you made them feel. If you come off salesy, then they feel icky. So stop being nervous at live networking events. Instead of talking about yourself, be curious, be giving, and ask others about themselves. Most importantly, be genuine and don't be shy. People want to be heard. The reality is, people love talking about themselves. And if you are truly interested and ask probing questions, people will remember how you made them feel wanted. This reminds me of my mom. She showed compassion towards everyone and made them feel special because she was non-judgmental, no matter if they were considered a freak or a weirdo in society. Her understanding and vitality for life touched so many hearts and changed their lives for the better. All throughout my life, people would tell me that they wish my mom was their mom. She had that type of effect on people. My mom, who was part of my circle of influence, set the example. When meeting someone new, she used that opportunity to make them feel happy, special, and entertained. It was her inspiration that gave me courage to be myself and not be shy around strangers. I know live networking can be stressful for some people, but when we're able to do it again, I urge you to take chances and try. To push yourself, give yourself a goal. If there are people you know at the event, get to know them better. Set a number of people that you want to reconnect with. Give yourself a quota to meet new people, but be bold and daring. Your goals should include people who are at the level that you want to achieve. Be curious and friendly, and do not expect anything from anyone. Be there to build community and stay connected. If someone gives you a business card, after your conversation, take out a pen and write on the back of the card. Scribble some keynotes from your conversation so that you can remember it later. By the next day, send them an email or connect with them on LinkedIn. You can use your notes as a reference. But please, be appreciative, but don't be phony. Ugh, I hate phony. And keep in mind, you never want to squander this opportunity because you have no idea what magic this one connection might bring. Through the power of networking, you can change your circle and as a result, change your life. To dive into this further, I am joined by Jamar Jones. He oozes with positive energy from every pore. But I guess that wasn't always the case. As a teenager, he was angry and felt lost. He experienced racism and had to deal with the stress of attending 4 different high schools. Despite his challenges growing up, Jamar went on to have a successful music career and built his communication agency from the ground up. Now, Jamar has a team of 10 people working for him. He attributes his success to the people he surrounded himself with, his circle of influence in life and business. Now he's taken his personal experience and written the book, Change Your Circle, Change Your Life. This interview was such a treat for me, and I'm so happy to share it with you. Jamar is the type of person that can light up a room, and everybody wants to be around him because he makes you feel so good. He's also incredibly cool and down to earth. All right, here is my discussion about changing your circle to change your life with the inspiring and talented Jamar Jones. Jamar Jones, welcome to Get the Balance Right podcast.
Yes, thank you. I'm super excited.
For the people in the audience who don't know who you are, can you just tell a little bit about yourself, your business, and the services that you offer?
My name is Jamar Jones. I am the owner of Relatable Marketing. Our business is a sales and marketing firm where we help businesses dive deep into their story, their messaging, and really make sure that they're relatable in everything that they do. Our services are a full marketing solution for companies. So anywhere from digital all the way to social media, to project management, podcasting, all different types of marketing strategy, but all to drive sales. We have a team of about 10 people and we're in Brookfield, Wisconsin.
What is your niche? Do you have a particular niche or do you help small businesses? Who do you help?
Yeah, I would say small to medium-sized businesses, but I would say really any niche. Mostly we work with people that have teams or speakers, trainers, consultants, or people that have a big customer base, a lot of retail companies as well.
And I've seen you do podcasts before, a video podcast.
Yeah, so we're actually relaunching that. We have the Foureva Podcast where we talk about business and personal. We're going to get into a bunch of different topics. We have about 5 episodes that are published out there, but we have a video version of that as well. Probably I'll get you on that at some point once we get all that officially launched.
Awesome. We're going to dive into the topic today. It's on your LinkedIn, Change Your Circle, Change Your Life. Yes. Wow, there's a lot of interesting things just in those few words. What does that mean to you exactly?
Writing this book, Change Your Circle, Change Your Life. What it means to me is that really, you can change your life by analyzing your direct circle, which is basically your direct influence, and that can impact and dictate exactly where you end up and how you're reaching your goals. It's about your direct circle, and then how do I get into other circles to achieve my goals and to get to where I can take my dreams to become reality.
Is this kind of like if they are achieving something that you would like to achieve, surrounding yourself with like-minded people like that?
Yes, that's a portion of it, but it's about other things too. It's about the positive influences in your life as well, or even finding a mentor. The book is a very healthy balance of mindset and action, molding those two together and making sure that you're on the right path, even in your personal life, relationships, family, and then even in business. They're all intertwined in your circle.
I don't know if you know the writer Bob Odenkirk, but he plays Saul on Better Call Saul. I went to a comedy workshop that he was at. He's a comedy writer, and he said that you never want to be the smartest person in the room. You always want to have people that are smarter than you in the room, because that's the only way you're going to learn and grow. If people want to change their circle to have that sort of dynamic, what are some of the things that they can do?
That is a great question. So there's a few chapters in the book that we're working on. One is called The Back Door. So this is one of my favorite ones because it's exactly how I built my entire company. It's how I've changed my life. And the back door is that a lot of people, when they want to go and do something, they go through the front door. And what I mean by that is, let's just put an analogy to it. Let's put it like for a nightclub. Everybody is trying to get in the nightclub in the front. They're standing in line. They're in the cold. They're at the bouncers. Nah, I don't know. The club's full. Wait till it gets empty enough when really it's fine. You could have gone in there anyways. Everybody's knocking on that front door instead of taking the back door approach. You want to go through that back door that goes through the kitchen, that goes through all the back end of the place. And then you get escorted in and you sit at your table. That's really the back door approach. How do you get access to that back door? To change your circle, you have to figure out how can you add value to those people that are at that back door to make sure that you can give something to them so that way you can get access to it.
Yeah, I like that. I think I'll call that the Goodfellas approach. Yeah, I find that as long as you have this approach where it's not like you have any expectation from people, that so many people are willing to give up their time. They've had people open doors for them, so they are willing to do it. But I do find, though, that you have to approach in a way that you don't have any expectations. So what are some ways that people can get to know these people that are at the back door?
Yes. So this is a great question. I'm going to continue with my analogy. So let's say you're trying to get in there, and instead of just standing there at the back door, which I guess you could do, and waiting, you also can figure out, well, who's involved with the back door? You have your servers, you have your DJ, you have your club promoters, you have other people that are involved in that space. Then how do I get engaged with them? Where are they at? Where are they going to? What do they care about? You start to learn about that. And then you say, how can I now offer what I'm about? So my value adds, what I care about, the things that I have interest in. How can you align that with some of the people there? So it's not necessarily by standing right in the back door. It's about getting involved in the other aspects. So maybe that DJ, you find them on Facebook and they like to go to some games. So maybe you hit them up and you say, hey, I would love to collaborate with you. How about I take you out to a Packers game? You go out to a few games and then you see what happens, or maybe different places where they're at. You start to engage yourself in those places or activities and slowly start to get involved. So then one day they're just like, hey, it's Friday night. Why don't you come through? And yeah, I can get you right in. And that's how the backdoor approach can happen.
Right now, we're in this age of COVID, and going to things like networking meetings is not really happening, but there are virtual events that we can go to. Where do you suggest people meet these people and connect with them?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say the best way, as far as within this age, is to just go on social media. So either Facebook or LinkedIn, and just DM somebody. But here's the thing, don't DM them with your ask. So don't go in there and say that this is all about me. You want to go in there and say, I want to learn about you. I want to be more engaged and understand what you have going on. And maybe there's a way that I can help you, but it's all about them. So craft your message to be all about them. Join a Facebook group that people are already talking about it and provide value, provide good insights. It's like dating. You never want to just go straight into the bar. You talk to a girl and you're just like, hey, yeah, let's go back to my place. That's the first words that come out of your mouth. That's not what you say. You got to get to know them. It's about them. And it's the same way in business. And the same way you want to network. You want to engage and learn about others.
When we actually can go back in person, what are some other physical places? What would you suggest people do to connect with these people the backdoor way?
Yeah, the backdoor way. I would say definitely networking meetings is a great way to go to things, different activities. So such as games, restaurants, places like that. I think conferences and seminars are also a great way to connect with like-minded people because everybody's there for a particular thing. If you're trying to learn about that thing, you need to go in there and involve yourself with it, but don't be too shy. You need to be able to talk to people and get around, but also within your direct circle that you already know, ask them, because a lot of times things that you're trying to do, you have to speak it into existence. So ask them and say, hey, I'm trying to do this. Do you know anybody? Do you know just one person that maybe can connect me with somebody that I can get in touch with? It's about really just maximizing your inner circle.
And once you've made that connection, how do you cultivate that relationship?
By doing everything to add value to them. It's not about you at that time. It is not about you. You need to make sure that you're adding value. You're saying, what can I do? You might even do a lot of things for free because you're trying to make sure that this is your shot. You got to prove yourself. And that's part of the book as well. Like you can wing it and only to a certain degree until you actually have to prove yourself. You got to deliver. At that point, just add value. And if there's ways or there's things that pop up and you're like, hey, actually, I could take care of that for you. Or, hey, I could do that for you. No problem. And you're more of a giving person, it's going to come back to you tenfold.
Hey there, this is Heather. I hope you're enjoying the podcast. And if you are, if you wouldn't mind, please hit the subscribe button now. That way you'll never miss an episode. All right, now back to the podcast. I love the idea of giving. Obviously, with the podcast, I'm giving a lot of my time. You being on a podcast, me putting together a podcast, it's a way of giving. And social media, a lot of the times when we're putting things out there, blog posts and all that is a way of giving. But at some point, we also have to get paid. So how do you find that happy balance where you want to be very helpful to these people, but at the same time, you don't want to become their person that they turn to just, I can get this person to do anything for me?
Yes. So two things are going to happen. One thing is that as you go and you give your time, your energy, your resources to help out this person or this organization or community, either they're going to give you some bigger opportunities later on that they're just going to set you up. You're going to have that and you're going to have to deliver on those. Otherwise, what these people are going to be more of a launch pad. They're already proving the concept of what you want to do, and they're giving you a portfolio. So once you start and you say that, hey, I might not go to this person now when I'm really trying to get paid. I'm trying to now convert this to, I have a portfolio. I've done a few of these now. I can now charge for this to be able to get closer to what my goal is. This person just gave me the launch pad to do it. So I'm saying that if it becomes a relationship where it's like they were with you in the beginning when you had nothing and they're always trying to get nothing from you, that's more of a launch. It's, hey, thanks. You gave me a portfolio. This is incredible. Now I have something to show to people. And most important of all, it builds confidence. It builds confidence to be able to show that portfolio, just like with a podcast. You start off and maybe you need a few episodes. Hey, the first couple of them, you're just bringing in people. You don't really know exactly what it's all going to be, but you ring them in until you get a few episodes and people are like, hey, she's actually got a real legit podcast. She's really doing this. And then people get more involved, take it a lot more seriously.
Yeah, it helps your reputation as well. If you bring these people on, and it probably gives you not only exposure, but it gives you the experience that you would have never had you not done this for free.
Exactly.
I'm assuming that this is something that has happened in your own experience. So what are some stories of how this has helped you?
This has helped me in so many ways. Pretty much my whole life, I've been more of a networker, more of a person that hopped a lot of different circles to be able to achieve what I need to do. One story is when I worked for a financial company. I didn't have any real technical background going in there. I just saw an opportunity. My ex-best friend's mom at the time was like, hey, they're hiring. You don't need an experience. Come on in. And I was like, hey, it's a little bit of more money. Let's do this. Man, I was about like 21, 20. I started to just learn the company, learn about what's going on. But what happened is I started to attach myself to certain individuals that currently at that time, I didn't have anybody in my circle that kind of had this mindset, this philosophy on growth, of personal growth. And I had a great boss at the time that really throughout the years showed me how you can take that personal growth and really cater to what you want to do. I started to really develop different skill sets that I never would have learned before if I had stayed to my prior circles. So some people can get a job and just be like, disconnect. I just go to work, I clock out, and I'm done. But I took that as an opportunity. How can I actually learn from this and grow from it? And then those circles actually became a lot closer to me. I learned a ton more as I started to grow through the company, and I became an IT manager. From starting from not knowing anything, now I'm in the room with directors, with vice presidents talking about budgets and how can we scale and how can we build better support teams, a better infrastructure. Then I'm in those conversations. It came from the circles that I was in and the knowledge that I had attained through the years.
A lot of times, just even through these connections, you'll learn things that you'll never learn in school. I studied business in college, and a lot of times it's just stuff that's in a textbook, but it's not that hands-on stuff. You don't get that until you're actually in the real world. From being in IT, how did you jump from that into marketing? Was it another circle
Yeah, I guess in a sense, yes, definitely. So after my 8 years in IT, what happened is unfortunately our whole office got laid off. So it was about 45 people got laid off. I was like, you know what? I want to do something for myself. I want to be able to build something because that was my overarching goal to always just build something. I already had an entertainment background doing music. I basically took a lot of those philosophies of doing music and building an audience into video production and into the marketing world of how do you really get that message out, branding, presentation, all those things translated very well. And then I really just attached myself to people that were in that space and learning from them, growing from them, and just shutting up and listening to the people that already know how to do this stuff. And then putting my own take on it when it was time.
It sounds like you are taking all this information that you've learned and experienced and you are turning it into a book. So tell us about this book that you're writing.
Yes, this book, I'm super excited for when it comes out. It's my first book. This book is the Change Your Circle, Change Your Life. The format of the book is you have your beginning context about each chapter, and then you have two different stories. One's going to be a business story, and then one's going to be a personal story for every single chapter. And then it goes into lessons and takeaways, followed by action items. My theory is that people can go through this book, read all 16 chapters, and be able to seriously change their life if they follow all the action items and all the things that are set there. It's going to be incredible because a lot of people feel stuck. A lot of people feel like this is my environment, this is what I'm in, and there's nothing else I can do with it. But there's so many other options. There's so much there. And it's just about first, how do you take what you're currently dealing with and changing your circle and getting into different circles that can give you opportunities. But once again, it's about delivering once you get to that opportunity.
This book has practical steps and it has a mindset aspect to it. Is that how it works?
Yes, exactly. I would say it's about 50-50 split of mindset versus action because you need both if you're going to change your life.
If you could just give us just a little hint of what's in there, what would be like a mindset shift hack that we could do?
Oh, man, there's so many. Let's dive into this one chapter. It's called Vampires and Shepherds. The chapter is all about energy. We have a certain amount of energy every single day that we need to give. So like we wake up, initially, we have 100% of energy. And as we go throughout our day, we have things that are going to drain that energy or take energy. So vampires are the people that they show up unannounced and they take energy from you. This could be family members. This could be your spouse. This could be friends. This could be a coworker or a boss. They're come in different faces. They take energy and time away from you on your day-to-day life. But it's about recognizing who those people are, how much energy are they taking from you, and how do you minimize or cut off from these vampires? Get your garlic, get your steaks out and take them out, because a lot of people just deal with these though. They deal with the vampires. They let them constantly take their energy away from them. That's stealing from their own personal being every single day. And the shepherds are the people that are actually guiding you, going somewhere. They're a positive influence. They're somebody that's like, hey, come with me. I can take you to where you're trying to go. Those are the people that you need to align and say, in my circle, do I have any shepherds? A lot of people don't. It's about adding to your circle and adding that mindset of saying, I need to find at least 2 shepherds to get me to where I'm trying to go. If I want better health, I want a better career, I want a better relationship, I just want better friends, I want to get out of the environment I am. How do I get there? And so that's what that whole chapter is about, mindset, as far as with energy, and then who do you have around you?
I love that. Yeah. Also, it's not just about outside people. You can be your own vampire because you could get caught up in social media and spend, it could just be, that could be a vampire as well. Just sort of self-sabotaging vampire.
You could be your own vampire. Yes. I like that. It's true.
I think for some people, it could be even like a teacher in school could be a shepherd. I guess a boss could be a shepherd. What would be some other examples?
Yeah, a shepherd can be in many forms, but I would say, of course, you're going with a leader that somebody you look up to and that can give you advice. It could be a mentor. It could be somebody that's really good at bouncing ideas off of, just a positive influence. Maybe they're not necessarily looked at as a leader, but there's somebody like, hey, every time I have a conversation with this person, something good comes out of it. We're just talking about things, drumming up ideas, and they always just give me some good feedback, some good criticism, some good feedback to get me to where I'm trying to go. That could be another shepherd that's in somebody's life. It also could be somebody that is just generally doing something good that you can just attach yourself to. Maybe you're in two different worlds, but you're able to say, hey, you're doing something good, I'm doing something good, or I want to do something good. Let me just be around you. Let me just be in your circle, in your environment, and just learn from you. And because honestly, those people are going to attract more people like them. And that's what you want to, continually put yourself around.
I find that I meet a lot of interesting people just through volunteer work. I volunteer with Toastmasters, and just even through that, you meet very interesting people that are someone that is outside of your normal network. Right. You're being exposed to different types of ideas, different types of people. And then, of course, they know people that can expose you to other people. And yeah,
exactly.
I think it's getting outside of your confinement of your own circle.
Exactly. See, yeah, you're getting it. You're getting it because even you're just putting up your own experiences and saying, like, how did I get here? You got there by making that decision. So even getting into Toastmasters, did somebody recommend you to that? Is that how you got into Toastmasters?
I was actually volunteering for Amnesty International, and I had to speak in front of a government official. I was like, I have to improve my speaking skills. Once I got in, I was hooked. And it's such an encouraging environment for speaking. And like I said, I got to meet people that I would have never met. Toastmasters is a great way. I think going to local business networking things, of course, we're not doing that now. But before we wrap up, I want to make sure that we talk about ways people can work with you and how they can find you. Let's jump into that.
I would say the number one way that you can find me is just on LinkedIn. I feel like LinkedIn's a great way. Jamar Jones, Relatable Marketing. But also we have our websites as well that you can reach out to us on. And that's relatablemarketplace.com. And that's actually a way you can literally see a lot of our services, a lot of things that we offer, and you actually can see pricing. It's all right there. That's the quickest way to just work with us and get involved. Otherwise, reach out, and we definitely like to have a conversation with you to see where you're at and build a custom package to help you. And I would say that as far as our services and what we can do, the best way that we work with people initially, because a lot of time marketing, it's so overblown and there's so much to do. The best way is to have us do some marketing consulting for you within that first month and just really understand what's going on. How can we make some really good critical decisions to help you? And the second thing is to get organized. So we have a marketing calendar, which we have a software that we use, but we get everything organized. A lot of times marketing's all in our head. We're just like, yeah, we got some ideas. We're doing this, we're doing that. Is anything written down? Do you have a calendar? Do you have things all planned out from your events to your social, to your videos, to the engagements, to your digital strategy, all that stuff? It has to be right there, and you're looking at it and saying, this is what I'm doing for my marketing. So that's the best way that we usually get started with people, and then it snowballs from there.
And you also do video production. So is that local in Wisconsin, or with marketing, you can work with people, I'm assuming, anywhere, but what about the video production piece of it?
Yes, we do a lot of video editing, a lot of shooting. Now, typically it is local. But before COVID, we were traveling quite a bit, going around to different places, different conferences, events, trade shows, but also doing a lot of corporate interviews or even product videos as well. We're not able to do that right now. So right now it's more local and doing a lot of editing because that can be done anywhere. People send us over the footage, we go ahead and edit it, and then we send it right back to them.
Oh, okay. So you don't necessarily have to film it. You do the editing as well. That's very cool. You mentioned trade shows. So I saw a video clip that you did where you were at some sort of trade show and you were talking about how the people were, I don't know if it was visually, they were just not doing it right, or what was that about?
Yes, that was like right before COVID too. That was at the Midwest Food Expo. So a lot of times people, when it comes to their marketing, they put all this effort into their trade show or go into that conference and that booth, and they get all the right presentation, get all the right look there as far as the graphics, making sure that they have a really good way of getting the business cards. How do they reach back out to them? Having some wow factor at the booth. And that's great. But now it's about how do you transition that experience into your everyday marketing, into your everyday sales? Does that transition to your website? Does that transition into how you're doing your customer experience, customer retention? When somebody just starts with you, what's your onboarding process? Just making sure all the aspects of what you have on a business side on the front end, is it as compelling as that wonderful trade show booth that you had to put together and spend a ton of money on? Are you trickling that through the entire process for your business?
Yeah, exactly. The other flip side of that is that sometimes at trade shows, people just seem really pitiful because nobody's at their booth.
Yeah, they set it up, and that's even worse. They're not there half the time. It's like you walk by and you're like, where are these people?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, I've seen that a lot.
Cool. Thank you so much for being on the show. And Jamar, when is your book coming out exactly? Do you know, or it's still kind of up in the air?
It's a little up in the air. I know it's coming out in June. I just don't know exactly what date yet. So yeah, it's coming out in June, and really looking forward to it. I would say just follow me on my social media platforms and reach out to us on our website. And then definitely you'll see updates and things like that come for the book. You can grab it.
Is this something that you are self-publishing, and where will this be available?
Yeah, I will be self-publishing it as well, but we'll definitely make sure that it's on Amazon for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jamar. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much. This has been a great conversation. Love it.
Hey, this is Heather. Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. If you found value in the show, I'd really appreciate it if you gave me a rating on iTunes, or just simply tell a friend about it. And if you're interested in learning more about my profit advising and coaching, please set up a discovery call by using the link in the show notes. All right. Thanks so much, and see you next time.